So we are ready now for starting this monthly column, I would say, on the web, describing the monthly stars, and it is now time for December stars. We are approaching the longest nights of the year, and this in principle should be a good point for observing the sky, but on the other side you have the cold temperature typical at this time for the northern hemisphere, as we are going to describe the northern sky. And this time of the year also is not so generous of clear nights. So once you have a good one, take benefit from it, as you never know when the next one will be available. This is a simple rule I have learned over many decades. And this time of the year, we are just seeing the winter stars coming, and they will shine a lot, very bright for many weeks. By now, I would say that the Christmas season we are approaching will give us, to me, the best sky we can admire at mid-northern latitude. And for me, this is really, really important to keep in mind. While the winter nights are hard to attend because of the cold temperature, they are highly rewarding because of the many trees are shining out there. As usual, I will share with you a few maps, and I'm just going to reset the previous star map to show you what is up in the sky just in the middle of December 15, and at 8:30 p.m. The map I am going to show has been evaluated for Italy, but it works very well for many different latitudes, and of course for all longitudes which are at the same latitude as Rome, for example. But I'm sure that many of you can find this useful no matter your particular location in the northern hemisphere. Of course, if you are on the top of the northern pole, you can have trouble using the star map. But it is time for me to do things seriously, and just want to show you the most simple map, just avoiding too much confusion with the names of stars and constellations. And here it comes, the first map showing the full sky visible right now, I would say at the day and time I mentioned earlier. The map is coming, and as usual, you really don't need to do anything, just wait, and the map will appear there for you. At least this should happen, and I will wait just for a few seconds to have the map just displaying properly there. And you can see that on the right, where we have the west direction, we see the bright summer stars. They are going away. You can see the shape of the swan, Lyra, and the eagle. Actually, the eagle is largely now not visible. While in the south direction, where the stars are better visible at any time, you can see typical autumn stars, even if some part of those constellations are now moving west as well, like Pegasus, like Cassiopeia, and maybe better for me to show the names of constellations as I'm mentioning them, and happy to see that I can do this very easily, as the system is flexible and in real time. So I just added a new map with the constellation names, and as I said, looking south, you can see typical Latin constellations with Pegasus, Andromeda, Cassiopeia, and so on. As you know, I really love using the Latin names, and after all, they are still the official ones. But if you look east, you can easily enjoy the bright winter stars coming. You may remember from the previous month that we already had a view on the first winter stars, but 1 month ago Orion was not so well visible. Why now? while now at the very beginning of the night, I would say, or a few hours after the very beginning of the night, the figure of Orion is now complete, and as well other winter constellations are shining there. This is good for us because in autumn, as we marked many times, we really miss bright stars, and fortunately we still have the bright planet Jupiter actually trying to remedy to this lack of bright stars while shining in the middle of some pale zodiacal constellations like Aquarius and Pisces, the fishes, you know. Also, the moon will be well visible next in these days, also tonight, of course. And with this map, I think that we have an idea about what is up in the sky in the middle of December, not too late in the night, 8:30 your local time, PM, of course. I just want to add here the names of the stars, as I really love showing names of the stars. I'm really attracted by those ancient sounds, you know. I really love them. I used to say that in addition to the wonderful science lurking behind those figures, we have a third dimension we can miss at the first glance. Of course, you have the impression that the sky is flat, but do not forget that there is a very huge depth, okay? But still keep in mind that a lot of ancient traditions are just lurking there, because with these names we are just remembering very, very ancient civilizations. And for me, this is a very nice bonus. So a new map is coming where I added the names of the most bright stars, and you can recognize some of them, like, for example, Capella, like Aldebaran or Deneb, and so on, the one you prefer, at least in this season. Now I want to show you in detail the main locations of the sky, as I think that at this scale it is a bit hard to properly identify things out there. So I just want to start from the west, as in that direction we see stars that are setting, so it is good to start from them because we are going to miss them in a very short time. So a new map is coming, and I just want to check, okay, that everything was correct. And okay, everything is correct, so I'm just sending the new star map. And as I promised, that this one is looking west, and with some melancholy, maybe we can see the swan flying away, literally here, with the wings very well placed, fitting the horizon, you see, while the body is perpendicular to the horizontal line. And this is a fantastic location for this bird, you know. But Deneb and Swan as well, Cygnius in Latin, are the eastern star visible at summer. So most of the summer constellations are now gone away, and you can see that also the winged horse Pegasus here is actually just approaching west. Well, you have still time to see and enjoy this, but when I say that this is happening, it is true, because if you look at this map, you see that the largest part of the flying Earth is now not so far away from the western horizon. You can recognize the famous Pegasus rectangle marked by reasonably bright stars, also the neck, and also the nose, Enif in Arab, the nose of the horse, of course, with the legs, and they are very well visible. This is a huge constellation, I must say, and despite the stars are not so bright, it is easy to recognize, to the point that some people confuse the big rectangle of Pegasus, together with the Andromeda, which is on the left in the upper part in this visualization, with the Big Dipper. I am impressed by the number of people confusing Andromeda plus Pegasus with the Big Dipper. Well, it is too much big and mainly located in the wrong direction. But still, this is an interesting thing to note. Also, the zodiacal constellations we saw last month, like Aquarius and Pisces, are moving away, and we are missing just a little thing because those stars are not so bright, and many people, even people enjoying astronomy, failed trying to locate this faint, pale constellation. So if you fail it, try again, and maybe from a darker place, and you will win. Of course, Jupiter is still visible, even better here. It is close to the head of one of the fishes, and it is very, very bright, and planet Uranus is there as well. So if you want, just you can still observe the planet Jupiter. But it is time to move south. The best location in the sky, I mean the best because in that direction the stars are reaching the maximum altitude above the horizon, and this is giving us the best opportunity to look at those objects across the, I would say, the less thick atmosphere layer. When you look up, you have to remember that you are in the bottom of an air ocean, and when you look outside, you are looking across the atmosphere, and that is actually a trouble for perfect observing. Of course, it is such a great gift, the atmosphere for us, but it is a limiting factor in astronomy, and if you look south, that object will be at the best condition, because at every other direction you will have more atmosphere between you and that object. So keep this in mind, and if you wait looking south, you can have the best opportunity for a given object to show to you. In this direction, we still see some autumn constellations like the whale, Cetus, the sea monster, and it is funny to remember that there is a huge mythological scenery here involving Cetus, Pegasus, Andromeda, Cassiopeia, Cepheus, and Perseus. And perhaps this is the largest mythological frame in the sky, to my knowledge. And these stars are, again, not so bright, but we can see already the bright gems from the winter sky, and we can enjoy them even better just moving to east. And now the east map is coming. Here it is. Just waiting for you to have this map. And this way you can see what I mentioned. Orion is now significantly high. Well, it just rised, you know, but you can see it at its full strength, complete. You can recognize the head, Meissa, the shoulders, Betelgeuse and Bellatrix, the belt, and also the foot, the legs with the foot, the feet, sorry, Rigel and Saiph. And this way you can really recognize a human shape. This is fantastic. It is also bringing a shield, you see, as it is Orion is defending himself against the bull coming from the west in an upper favorable position for the animal, you know. The Taurus is very, very well visible with the bright high Aldebaran, an orange star, color which is perfect for this animal with some rage against Orion. So this is a strong, I would say, battle, you know. And other constellations will rise later in the night or later in the month. It depends on your available time. Also, Gemini, the twins, are shining so well, and you can recognize Castor and Pollux. the names of the mythological two brothers, and it is very nice to see once again how the shape of the Gemini constellation remembers I would say, a very simple sketch of two human figures embracing, and they are just showing they love there as they were twins with a very strong relationship between them. And there is a wonderful page of mythology here I suggest you to discover if you want. But we are now going to explore what is happening at the very top of the sky, the point we have at the maximum altitude overhead, what we call zenith. And here is coming the zenith map, and here you can see something like Andromeda, and very close to zenith you have the star Almach at the time and date of this map. It is a wonderful star, a double star. You can enjoy it with also a small telescope, enjoying the different colors. One star is looking orange, the other one is looking white bluish, so this is a fantastic vision. But also Perseus is still climbing. While Perseus is an Nocturne constellation, it is the one showing east. So like Genius is the last summer constellation to disappear, Perseus is also the last, I would say, autumn constellation before to leave space to the pushing winter ones. And after all, you can see here also Capella. Capella is one of the brightest stars in the sky. It is, if I remember right, the 6 stars in order of brightness after Sirius, Canopus, Alpha Centauri, Arcturus, Vega, and then Capella. So it is a very, very strong star shining there. But we are not going to miss the last direction, that is north. And here it comes, a north map for you, hoping that you will like it. It is coming. Just waiting that the map will show. Here it is, and you can recognize here the Big Dipper, which is now slowly rising again after being so bad located in the sky last month. I will say that the Big Bear, Ursa Major, is now showing as the frontal part of the animal is already well visible. After all, the Big Dipper is also the final part of the animal, the one rising later, But of course, other months are coming to see those stars at their best. You can also recognize the Polaris star, which is always sitting in the very proximity of the North Celestial Pole, and there you have also the Little Bear, Ursa Minor in Latin, a constellation which is not so bright and you can miss it from light polluted places, and Polaris is the end of the tail of the Little Bear. Of course, you have also the Dragoon with its stars. You can see just going between the two bears, the two birds. But I just want to also remember some important objects you can observe, you can enjoy in this period of the year. Of course, I suggest you to look at Jupiter, even with a small telescope, even with a binocular if you want. In that case, you can see at least the main Galilean satellites discovered by the Italian scientist Galileo Galilei early in the 17th century, Some people with a very good eye say that they can spot the satellites, at least one of them, with the naked eye. It is something I cannot really try. Also, the moon is fantastic to see. While moving and going to the full moon, you still have a few days to enjoy the moon before having it full. And at full moon, the show is not so good because you have no shadows on the moon surface, and this does not help you to have details. So have a good look at the moon right now. Also, you can always enjoy the famous and wonderful Andromeda Galaxy. A new map is coming, marking the position of this object, and you can see this with the naked eye if you are under reasonably dark conditions, and in that case, please consider that you are looking very far away, both in time and space, as you are looking at an object which is 2 millions of light years away from you, and a light year is a huge measure of space, a huge distance, and what you see there is showing how the galaxy was, how the galaxy appeared 2 millions of light years, ago. So looking at 2 millions of light years is like looking 2 millions of years back in time. I love this unexpected time machine. Well, we cannot travel across space and time this way, but at least we can see what happened in the past of the universe, and this is fantastic to me. Also, there are other fantastic objects to see, again with the naked eye, and I just want to mention the Messier 45 object, Pleiades. They are very famous. They have plenty of stories in any mythology for every culture, and for those missing where Pleiades are, I'm showing a map with their position marked. And I want to mention that the position there is close to Aldebaran, but Aldebaran is shining eastern than Pleiades. So Aldebaran rises in the sky later than Pleiades, and the funny thing here is that the name Aldebaran just means the one who is following, referring to the fact that Aldebaran rises, so follows Pleiades, rise after the Pleiades. So this is a name reflecting an action, I would say, something logical in the sky, and I love to see how our ancestors were often inspired by what they saw, by a phenomenon, to name something, like planets, from planetes in Greek, the wandering stars. I really love this, a name reflecting a behavior, and this is for me a clear evidence about the attention of our ancestors to the natural things, and in this case, for the things of the heaven. Of course, another fantastic treasure to see is here. Let me see if I can find this for you. And in the middle of Cassiopeia and Perseus, and back to Pleiades, by the way, you can enjoy them with any instrument, and the larger telescopes should be used at low magnification to keep a wide field of view to enjoy the whole cluster. Pleiades are a very young family of stars, a few hundreds, and they have an age of about 1 million of years, so they are really, really young on the cosmic scale, you know. But the position I marked now is showing a place, I said, between Perseus and Cassiopeia, and there you can spot the double cluster in Perseus, 2 open star clusters shining close each other. You have the impression that they are there together, and if you have a binocular, you have to look there. Please don't miss this. This is one of the jewels out there. This is a fantastic and unforgettable view. The first time I saw this with a small telescope, I was, if I remember, I was 13. I had at the time I had my first serious telescope after using another one and smaller, and I was on the top of the roof of my house. I went to call my father and mother because I really wanted them to look at that, because I was really shocked by the number of stars, by the different colors in the field of view. This is something I will never forget, and I'm sure you will do the same. Then I just want to move east, and just looking on the sword of Orion, to the position I just marked. Here it is, where you will find the famous Orion Nebula. This is something you can easily see by naked eye if your sky is dark enough, but if you use any kind of optical instrument, you will have fun, even with binocular, even with large telescope. you will say even more. But please consider that observing is quite an art, as William Herschel, perhaps the greatest observer ever, said. And if you look there with a big telescope or even with a small one, spend some time looking there, and you will be amazed, because you will see things after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, something new you didn't see earlier. This is fantastic when thinking of the sky. You can learn that you have to be patient in life to grasp the difference. And this is, for me, a strong example. And this nebula is showing wonderful dark areas, bright places, young stars. You can have really a lot of fun. You can be crazy for the beauty of this object. And I must say that the people who never look through a telescope are shocked by this object, and this is a clear evidence that this is a remarkable one, not just an impression. This is, I would say, one of the 5 most beautiful objects we have overhead. So look there with any telescope. If you have a telescope, at this point you can even try something harder, like looking for the Crab Nebula, which is on the southern corner of the Bull. A map is coming. It is not easy to spot with a small telescope, but keep in mind that Charles Messier, the French astronomer who observed this with other astronomers, at the time used the small telescope. So try again if you don't succeed locating it, and sometime you will find it. And that pale nebula is actually a grave of large mass star which exploded like a supernova, and it was seen about 1,000 years ago by Chinese astronomers. And now we know that that nebula is in perfect connection with that star explosion, to the point that we have found in the center of the nebula the very, I would say, the body, I would say the remnant of the supernova, that is a neutron star, the core of the exploded star, that is a pulsar. And you can have a look there with a small telescope, being patient, because this is not so obvious like the other objects I mentioned. For those of you having clear skies right now, I remember that in the next hours we will have the best moment of activity for Geminids. They are some fantastic meteors, a meteor shower, an important one, and this shower is neglected, unfortunately, because of the weather, because of the season, the cold out there, because these are very good. They have nothing to envy to the Perseids, which are more famous because they are easy to see during the hot summer night. But if you have enough dresses, please try to observe. Before dawn of next night, we will have the best condition, the best time for have fun with this meteor shower, and the maximum number of meteors expected is 100. It is funny to see that this shower is not connected to a comet. You know that meteor showers have an interesting connection with comets, and this was discovered by an Italian astronomer, by the way, Giovanni Virginio Schiaparelli. And in this case, you have a connection with the asteroid Phaethon. At least the orbital characteristics of this asteroid strongly suggest this partnership. So this is another nice thing to see. Also, right now, out there, you have a wonderful conjunction between the Moon and Jupiter, and I suggest you to have a look. And to conclude, just at the very end of the year, but not at the critical time when you are going to celebrate, but at dawn of the 31, so basically 24 hours before you say goodbye to 2010, you can wait for a nice conjunction between the Moon and Venus. I'm going to show you a star map with this configuration, if you don't mind. Let me try at 5:30 in the morning of December 31, and I'm just going to show this at full magnification. All this is happening in the Libra constellation, And here is coming now the star map for you. And you can see the planet Venus is close to the Libra name, a bit on the left, while the moon is on the right. This is a large conjunction, as there are several degrees between the stars, 8, about 9 degrees actually, but still a nice view. But I suggest you to have at least a look now to Jupiter and the moon meeting in the sky. This is basically a free event, while looking at Gemini later in the night